Ram Mandir Inauguration nears. Good evening. You're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Well, the Congress has taken a hard stand. Many would say it's also a Mandir gamble by the Congress by respectfully declining the Ram Mandir inauguration invite. Well, will this move backfire for the Congress, already deemed as anti-Hindu by the Bharatiya Janata Party? Or on the other side, has the Congress finally taken a very clear stand where it's going to stick to its core ideology of honoring every religion but sticking to secularism? Let's take this to our panelists this evening. Joining me is Tuhin Sinha, National Spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party; Sanjay Kumar, Co-Director, Lokniti, CSDS Psephologist; Ashutosh, Author, Political Analyst; Sanjay Jha, Political Analyst; and Amitabh Tiwari, Political Analyst. Sanjay Kumar, to begin with you, for somebody who's been looking at the political narrative of the country, how do you gauge the decline of the Congress party where the invitation is concerned? Do you see that, there are a few people who are looking at it from the perspective that they've walked into the trap of the BJP, now they'll be deemed anti-Hindu, and that whole narrative will play all over again? Or do you also see that the Congress really had nothing to lose? It was damned if you do, damned if you don't. At least here, they can take a clear ideological stand, which they haven't in the past.
Preeti, I know it was a difficult choice for the Congress, but I would agree with what you said later, that whether Congress party leaders attend, it's not going to help Congress in winning the votes of those who consider themselves as very aggressive Hindu, because all those are they have already decided they are going to vote for the BJP. So the participation of Congress in this Ram Mandir inauguration was not helping the Congress in garnering more support for them. So I think the choice within the Congress was whether to attend or not to attend. By taking a decision not to attend, at least they have stated that this is the ideology, that they consider all religions similar, and they won't be participating in something which is only meant for one religion. So I think the choice was difficult, but I think the Congress has taken one stand. But I think the most difficult part is that the leaders of the Congress are not speaking in one voice. That will damage the Congress. That they are not speaking in one line. Congress leadership is divided on this issue. So that's a difficult situation for the Congress.
Well, you're bang on. But Amitabh Tiwari, to bring you in on this, till now, at least where the voters were concerned, there was a sense of confusion that where does the Congress actually stand? Sometimes they'll turn up with this soft Hindutva stand. Rahul Gandhi will get onto a temple hopping spree, wear a Janeyu, mixed signals, confusing signals, yet talk about secularism. Do you see this, that maybe for the first time it could be a gamble, but the Congress is sticking to what has been traditionally its core ideology, which is secularism? We respect all religion, but this is potent when you mix politics with religion. We are keeping out of it.
Essentially, I mean, if the core ideology of the party is the secularism, how does not attending an event of the largest community and the biggest lord led the party? See, the Congress party had to see it from two, three angles. One is, can it take credit for the Ram temple construction or the inauguration? The answer is no, because for that they would have needed to communicate on the 1989 opening of the Ram Lala, since the Supreme Court verdict was announced. That did not. Now the question.
Amitabh Tiwari, we
And
seem
not the
to have
government.
lost you. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Make your point.
So now they have an invitation, and the invitation is coming not from the government but from the Ram Mandir Trust. So now the question was whether how do you contain the damage? So if the party attended the event, I would have said that it was a zero loss strategy, because the core voters or the secular voters may not have taken it in a bad manner, correct? And they would have stayed with the party, and the BJP would also have not been able to paint Congress as anti-Hindu, correct? Because we are just looking at the official communication channels of what the BJP is now saying on print and television. But there's a clear WhatsApp communication channel, and we could just imagine what sort of messages are going to be floated around there. So, and to say that anyway, whoever was voting for BJP was voting for BJP, and whoever was voting for Congress is voting for Congress, then that means that the BJP is perhaps in a strong foot and going to win. Because for the Congress to win, it has to make a dent into this vote bank of the BJP. So how will the Congress now, with this decision, be sure or ensure that the voter switches from BJP to the Congress? So that's not going to happen with this decision, and that is the loss. That is the loss.
Interesting.
Or the notional loss.
Two very contrarian point of view coming in from Sanjay Kumar and Amitabh Tiwari, but let's get a political point of view in all of this. Tuhin Sinha, the narrative now from the Congress, though kind of divided, is one, at least the official narrative is, Ram sabke hain, sirf Bhajpa ke nahi. What you guys are doing is inaugurating a structure which is incomplete only for political gain, something which has been echoed not just by the Congress but also the seers across the country.
Well, good evening, Preeti. Good evening, everybody. The Congress party for the last 2 decades has been taking positions which is increasing their redundance, which is increasing their journey into oblivion. And this particular decision is absolutely in consonance with that. The country has waited for 495 years after the barbaric destruction of Ram Temple by Babur. And, the Pran Pratishtha is of the core body of the temple. The temple parisar, as we call it, will take some more time, but there is absolutely nothing wrong in the inauguration of Pran Pratishtha. Imagine, there are generations of people who have passed away waiting for this day. You must have heard of of a lady called Saraswati who has been on Maun Vrat, who lives in Dhanbad, who has been on Maun Vrat for the last 3 decades, who visits that temple visits that place every year, hoping to see the construction of the temple while she is alive. So I think we have to respect the sensitivity of generations of Hindus who waited for this day. Congress obviously has no regard for the sentiments. In 1951, Nehru had tried his best to persuade the then President Dr. Rajendra Prasad from staying away from the inauguration of the resurrected Somnath temple. 7 decades later, they should have done some introspection. In fact, this was the last attempt for Congress to salvage its, anti-Hindu mindset. Unfortunately, it could not. And I think they would pay the price in the elections. They would wither away in these Lok Sabha elections, mark my words.
All right, Ashutosh, do you want to come in and weigh in on this? Because, we're going to take the conversation that we started yesterday. And now, even the Congress seems to be divided on the stand that it has taken officially.
I don't say the Congress is divided on the issue. And this has been made very clear by the Congress itself. And if you look at the Sonia Gandhi and others, they had made a firm commitment. I think that is good also, good in the sense because there was a confusion and there was a dilemma in the Congress party, and finally Congress party has gotten over. Like the BJP's commitment to the Ram Mandir, it is not necessarily that Congress and other political parties should also be committed to that kind of an ideology. So I think there is absolutely no, and I'm very sure about it, look at how the Shankaracharyas has reacted. The Shankaracharya of Uttarakhand Jyotirpeeth, Avimukteshwar Saraswati Nand. What he's saying this has been used for the political reasons. Similarly, the Puri Shankaracharya has also reacted in the same way. So there is a divide within that, and my opinion is very firm on this. The issue is that though the Hindus who are Hindutvadi, they will continue to vote for the BJP. But those Hindus who have not voted for the BJP will not be served to vote for the Congress party. So there is a clear distinction that has to be made, and there should not be any confusion. Yes, the BJP will go ahead, would like to paint Congress and others as an anti-Hindu, anti-Ram. But if it is anti-Hindu, anti-Ram, just because somebody is not visiting the temple on a particular date, so can it be said that way? Can the BJP go ahead and say that Mahatma Gandhi was also anti-Hindu? Because Mahatma Gandhi used to say, "Jo Dashrath ke putra hai, wo mere Ram nahi hai, mere Ram to eternal hai." So can BJP go ahead and say that Ram is this Dashrath ke Ram wali statement? He's anti-Hindu.
All right,
BJP
but
say that?
Ashutosh, is it so much about just the BJP? Because you're getting word in within the Congress who are saying this was the wrong idea. You have Arjun Movadia, you had, Digvijay Singh till about a week ago saying that we should go. There are MLAs right now, certain MPs even where other states are concerned.
The issue is on the particular date. Issue is not about not going to Ram Temple. So let's not get confused about it. On 22nd, the invitation is coming from the BJP, RSS, and the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Nobody has said that he is against Ram. Nobody is saying that he is against Ram Mandir. Nobody is saying that he or she will not visit Ram Temple. The issue is whether on 22nd, at the invitation, the BJP and the RSS, whether they should go to Ram Temple or not Ram Temple. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
Nobody has. I haven't heard anybody who has said that he or she is against Ram or the Ram Temple.
All right, okay, Tuhin Sinha, why not Ram Navami? Or, instead of getting into these arguments, be unabashed about it. It is political. What's wrong with it? It was part of your manifesto. Wear it on your sleeve. Why then make a facade of it to call it religious, to call it devotion, to call it faith? It might be all of that. But ultimately, this is as political as it's religious for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Therefore, the inauguration being pushed right before the Lok Sabha elections.
Preeti, it's a fact that in June 1989, when the BJP adopted a resolution in its Palampur Adhiveshan, that was the turning point for the Ram Temple. But the BJP does not do it for political reasons. It's a part of a belief. It's a part of the Ram Rajya which we have wanted to establish, which unfortunately the Congress could not in 7 decades. When I talk of Ram Rajya, obviously the entire discussion will meander into a different level, but large sections of people, their own Prime Minister used to say that out of 1 rupee that you spend, 15 paise reaches to the poor. That was not Ram Rajya. We have tried to establish Ram Rajya, and they have a fundamental problem with the notion of Ram Rajya. We have been unapologetic about our faith. We have been unapologetic about the fact that we stand for Hindu interests, because as the majority population, we can't shy away from repeatedly letting them down like the Congress Party did. Why did the Congress Party question the existence of Bhagwan Ram in its Supreme Court affidavit in 2005? Who's making that noise? There is some noise coming. So anyway...
All right, okay, but Tuhin Sinha, the fact is... the fact is the Congress can turn around and say in 1989 it was Rajiv Gandhi who laid the foundation stone for the construction of the Ram Temple. No, that's what the Congress says. But, I just want to bring in Sanjay Jha into this conversation.
All the
but
more
Sanjay
reason,
Jha, this has been...
Preeti, all the more reason for the present-day Congress to be embarrassed.
Okay, but okay, 1 second. Now, embarrassed on what count is separate, but Sanjay Jha, to bring you in on this, Ram Mandir has always been a dilemma. For the first time, you've taken now a very hard stand, where you're saying you're not going to go, you respect faith, you respect religion, you respect those who revere Lord Ram, but for you, or like for the Congress party, this is a political stunt of sorts. Now, do you see this backfiring for the Congress because the BJP will once again go to town and call this anti-Hindu? Or do you think finally at least they've come, good on what should be their core ideology, which is secularism?
Preeti, good evening to you and to my fellow panelists. The cat is out of the bag actually today. The BJP has lost that moral high ground they were trying so desperately hard to occupy when they put out a poster today calling all the opposition leaders anti-Sanatan. I mean, who is the BJP? Who gives them the political authority to become the custodians of Hinduism to pass certificates? And do they even understand what Sanatan means? I question the BJP from a Shah to a Modi to a Mohan Bhagwat. Do you know what Sanatan means? The Shankaracharyas, by the way, I mean, 4 of them, I mean, 2 of them have publicly taken a posture and a statement where they have completely kind of segregated their association with the, Pran Pratishthas, because they say this is not being done in an appropriate fashion. As a Hindu, as a Brahmin, and by the way, I have a small little temple at my home, I don't need a certificate from either Mr. Sinha or Mr. Shah or Mr. Modi or Mr. Bhagwat. But yes, I will listen to what the Shankaracharya says. And the Shankaracharya is saying what is happening is not appropriate. At least 2 of the 4 have publicly made that statement. Point number 3, very important here, Preeti, that end of day, and this is something that we cannot ignore, where is the President of India? If we are talking about a non-political, bipartisan, ceremony, which is, I think, a historic occasion, I would like to see the President of India. I remember being a student of civics. The Commander-in-Chief, the head of state, is the President of India. Where is the President of India in this entire process of celebrations? Nowhere to be seen. And the third point, the BJP continues, Preeti, with a lie, saying that the Congress party called Bhagwan Ram imaginary. That was on the Ram Setu issue. They were discussing all kinds of records and evidence. But the BJP in the floor of parliament, their culture minister has gone on record to say that for Sita ji, there is no evidence. It is a matter of faith. So for the BJP, look at the hypocrisy. Bhagwan Ram is a historical reality, but for Sita, it is a matter of faith. I mean, this is the political convenience of a party which has no respect for history, no respect for constitution, which is hijacking a Supreme Court verdict which allowed the Ram temple to go through in a unanimous verdict and converting it into an electoral asset. That this is the low political denominator, but
Sanjay Jha, with what you're calling hypocrisy, really, will it cut deep when it comes down to the voter? Let's also go to our other panelists. And, it's interesting because every day you find out who's a Pandit, who's a Hindu, who's an atheist, or who's a believer. It all comes down in this panel. But yes, Sanjay Jha, you are a practicing Pandit. Good to know. But having said that, cutting across to Sanjay Kumar right now. Sanjay Kumar, really, does it matter to the voters, especially when you conduct these surveys, that the Ram temple is going to be inaugurated by the Prime Minister, where the Pran Pratishtha is going to be carried out, or the Yajman, to say, it's a terminology that I've also just gotten familiar with, is going to be the Prime Minister, that it's a political event, that the Seers or the Shankaracharyas, or 2 of them across the country, have an issue of one of them, that it's an incomplete structure, the other one, that it's not happening in the right fashion. Does it really matter to the voter? Because they will look at it as a trust issue where the Prime Minister promised it, it was a part of the manifesto, he's delivering it. How do you read it?
No, Preeti, for a common voter, for an average voter, it doesn't matter whether the temple is, half constructed, whether it should be inaugurated at this time or not, whether it is being inaugurated by Prime Minister or not, because there is a huge divide on the issue about whether it should be inaugurated at this time, whether it should be inaugurated when the Mandir is half completed. It matters, or the discussion is only among those who are already not willing to vote for BJP. They don't like BJP. They would never vote for BJP. Never means in 2024, they are unlikely to vote for BJP. So this narrative is very strong, but among only sections of voters who are unlikely to vote for BJP. For the voters of BJP, so the point I'm trying to say, there is very little gray area. And if I look at the gray area, gray area means voters who are uncommitted. They're small in numbers. And for those voters, doesn't make any difference. They seems to be a little euphoric now because they see this Ram Mandir coming, and the way this is being, campaigned. This is being, campaigned, and this is being projected to the people of this country. So there is an euphoria around that among the voters who are non-committed. So for them, it doesn't matter. I don't think they care whether it is half completed or whether it is being inaugurated by Prime Minister or not.
Amitabh Tiwari, to pull you in on this with what Mr. Kumar said and also what Ashutosh said, that ultimately the inauguration of the Ram Mandir is preaching to a converted choir.
In fact, see, it is speaking to a converted choir. But even the non-participation of Congress is also speaking to the same audience, correct? And the converted number of the BJP is almost twice as the Congress, if you go by vote share, correct? So now the issue is that no party or no opposition can win without making a dent into the vote bank of the incumbent. So what this issue does is that it helps the BJP consolidate its vote bank. It could even lead to a higher turnout amongst its hardcore ideological voters. Correct? That's number one. Sanjay ji mentioned very important and key points. But the communication of Congress party does not highlight these points. So the communication which the Congress party or the reasoning which it has given is incomplete. It does not in very concrete terms and speak clearly why it has denied. If it adds 2 or 3 points which Sanjay ji is saying, that even then it could have been a stronger argument. Currently we are seeing that it is not being able to even convince some of its top leaders. So there is, see, if they would have attended, what would have happened? I mean, if I play the devil's advocate, I mean, the people would not have been able to say that they have disrespected an invitation. I mean, we have to see from the optics and the narrative part, and the minority community also does not have any other option apart from voting for the BJP. Right. Sorry, voting for the Congress.
Ashutosh, do you agree? Do you agree with what Sanjay, with what Amitabh Tiwari is saying, that if the optics, the perception would have been different if they'd attended? At least they'd get away by not being once again called anti-Hindu.
See, Preeti, two things I want to make it very clear. First of all, if it is a religious ceremony, that why Shankaracharyas are not being given everything to consecrate. That's a very valid point. The Hindu mythology, Hindu society, Hindu philosophy revolves around the 4 feet established by Shankaracharya. 2 of the Shankaracharya has openly criticized it. And see what is happening now. So the point number 2 is, which is again important, is that whether this issue is going to galvanize a section of Hindus in all over India or only a part of India. Punjab, is it going to be, will this issue make a dent in Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Northeast areas? Will it going to happen that? No. In this section that is in North India, the Hindi-speaking belt, including Bihar, there, the BJP is already saturated. In Rajasthan, last time they got 58.05% vote share. It can go up to 65%, but will it add into seats? I don't see that. So I think the Congress has very smartly done it. They have focused. They are focusing. They have targeted which states and which kind of politics they want to do in 2024. And I think the bigger point is that finally they have decided to go back to ideology, which has given Congress a trust and the name in among the voters.
All right, many would say, okay, the Congress finally at least having the guts, whether or not it pays off to stick to a core ideology of what the Congress has always stood for. Now, that we don't know whether it will deliver or not, but many would think at least they're doing it. But having said that, Sanjay Jha, quickly, make your comment, then I'll cut across to Tuhin Sinha.
I tend to completely agree with my friend Amitabh here. Ideally, I've said it publicly on Rajdeep's program yesterday, so I'm not going to change my stance. I believe the Congress party could have actually done 2 things here, both the things actually. Being part of the entire ceremony because they were invited, not giving the BJP any opportunity to exploit it, even if it's temporary. Number 2, and yet make the same statement that this is an attempt to try and actually make religion into a political instrument. I mean, this is exactly, both the arguments could have been made. So I just feel that the Congress party needs to be smarter. And the point that Amitabh makes is pertinent. You see, going forward, I'm visualizing when Rahul Gandhi is doing his Bharat Joro Nyaya Yatra, there will be questions asked to him on this issue again and again. And the Congress needs to now very cleverly, and therefore the communication is critical, divert the issue to the fundamental challenges of the common man.
But then, Sanjay Jha, the Congress could go, or like I said, 10 or 15 days after the inaugural ceremony. Why do they need to go on only this day, many would say, and then make a larger statement going later? But, okay, that's all up to politics and the way it goes. But Tuhin Sinha, getting you in for a final comment. With what Ashutosh also said, it's not just the Congress party, it's no longer about politics. It's also about the two Shankaracharyas of the four on which rests Sanatan Dharma, which you talk so proudly about.
Preeti, I say this with responsibility that this present Congress Day party is an embarrassment to its own legacy. On 3rd November 1989, Rajiv Gandhi had started his campaign for the 1989 elections from Ayodhya. Not that he believed in it, but probably he was repenting for his stand on the Shah Bano case. In 1957 November, Nehru had called Periyar a lunatic for attacking Sanatan and Brahmanical, Brahmanism. So this present Congress party supports DMK every time it launches a fresh attack on Sanatan Dharma. We have seen that over the last 6 months. So I think the Congress may manufacture all kinds of alibis to stay away from the Ram temple. But the people of India know that in the last 25 years especially, the Congress party has been apologetic about its Hindu, about standing up for Hindu faith, about standing up for Hindu interests.
I'm running out of time. All right.
I don't know where Sanjay Jha has become such devout follower of Shankaracharya, and I really don't want to get
all right, into it. I've terribly run out of time. I'm going to end this debate, but you didn't answer my question, Tuhin Sinha, but that's what politics is all about, and we're going back in history. Let's end with what Lohia said, that there's nothing more political than religion. Just going to end it there. Thank you for watching.